Welcome back, friends. Let's start with infrared control. Infrared control, the most promising technology from last 20 years for wirelessly controlling nearly all the electronic appliances. But how? How the remote control works and why I can't change the channel of my neighbor Philips TV with my own Sony remote control. This must be the question that arises in the mind of everyone who is using a remote control. Here, I would not only answer your these doubts, but also make you design your own remote control with which you would be capable to control your music player, speakers, light, fan, etc. Here my discussion would be limited in controlling 3 LED, that is light, DC load. But in next section I would be dealing with a power electronic circuit which in combination with this circuit would be capable of controlling any power load, that is AC load. Now let's start. What does infrared remote sense? When a button in a remote control is pressed, an IR LED flashes on and off to broadcast a code. Here it is. Let's analyze the optical code sent by an IR remote control. IR LED flashes on and off at 38.5 kHz for 2.4 milliseconds to indicate a start, and IR LED remains off for 0.6 milliseconds for a resting state, and again an IR LED flashes on and off for 0.6 seconds to indicate bit 0, and IR LED flashes on and off for 1.2 milliseconds to indicate bit 1, and there is a resting state between each data pulse. This is of 20 to 30 milliseconds. Now let's see how this optical code is converted into an electrical signal. This optical code is received by a detector, and whenever a detector receives a IR LED flashing on and off, it generates a electrical low signal, and when it receives no optical code, that is when LED is not flashing on and off, it generates high signal, thereby forming a sequence of high and low signal as shown here. As shown, this is the sequence of high and low signal, and then here it start 20 in yellow color, a 20 to 30 millisecond high signal. This means a resting state between a message packet, and then a 2.4 millisecond low signal. This means IR LED is flashing on and off for 2.4 millisecond. This means the message has start, and now a high signal for 0.6 millisecond. This means IR LED is not flashing for 0.6 millisecond, and then a low signal for 0.6 millisecond means IR LED is flashing for 0.6 millisecond. This means bit 0, and then again comes a low signal for 1.2 millisecond. This is a low signal for 1.2 millisecond, thereby generating 1. Thus this type of sequence is formed. A 12-digit binary code is formed, and this is in the case of Sony remote control. This is the protocol of Sony remote control. It might differ. There are many remote control which have 16-digit binary code, and in some cases the detector sends, here the detector sends low signal whenever it detects IR flashing on and off at 38.5 kHz, and in some cases it sends high signal. There it is exactly opposite, and low signal when it is not flashing at all. So it depends. Thus I think you got how a TV understand which button on a remote is pressed. I think it must be clear now. Actually, whenever a button is pressed, it generates a unique code. Every button of a remote control has a unique code. therefore a unique optical code, and that optical code generate a unique electrical code which is understandable to a microcontroller. Now this is the figure of a signal sent by an IR remote control and as received by the receiver. This is an electrical signal with high and low states. Resting state between message packets is 20 to 30 millisecond, as I said earlier, and then the message starts here with 2.4 millisecond start pulse, and then there is a resting state of 0.6 millisecond between every pulse, that is bit 0 of 0.6 millisecond and bit 1 of 2.4 millisecond. Bit 1 is of 1.2 millisecond. This is the waveform of the remote control I analyzed. This is a 16-digit binary code and exactly opposite at that of Sony protocol. This is binary 1 and this is binary 0. This is also 1. This is also 1 and 1 1, and this is binary. This is 0, and this is the resting state. R is the resting state. And this is again 1, and thereby creating a 16-digit binary code. This is of my button. This green color is of button 1 and red color is of button 2 of my own remote control. Now it's time to start to build our own remote control device. But how? Here is the mind map for creating our own IR remote control device. First, we need to grab a IR remote control buttons hexadecimal value, that is equivalent binary, as to write a binary value is quite difficult. It is a 16 or 12 digit code, so we write an equivalent hexadecimal value, and this should be our first step. And then building an IR remote control receiver. This should be our second step to build our own IR remote control device. Now let's start with grabbing IR remote control hexadecimal value. This can be done in two ways. The first one is to get the hexadecimal value from the dataset, provided by the manufacturer dataset. And the second one is to get our hand dirty with Arduino. Little bit of circuit design and Arduino programming can give the hexadecimal value of any remote control you bought. Even some local remote control manufacturer didn't give dataset with the remote control, so we can use them too with this second type of idea. And then this is how we grab IR remote buttons hexadecimal code. First thing is circuit connection. We connect our IR receiver to Arduino and then program our Arduino so that we can get the code received by IR receiver on the serial monitor of the computer. And then finally we get hexadecimal code on the serial monitor of our computer. Let's see. The first step, circuit connection. How is circuit connected? This is our circuit. VCC of IR receiver is connected to 5 volt pin of Arduino, and ground of IR receiver is connected to the ground of Arduino, and then the data pin of IR receiver is connected to the 11th input output pin of Arduino. Now it's a time for programming. Let's get our hand dirty with programming. Here I am using Arduino 1.0.3. This is a Java-based development environment that can be used both to compile and burn our code to Arduino. irremote.h is a library that I am using, as this reduces lot of efforts and contain a lot of inbuilt function that I am using here. Now let's zoom the code for you. Here I am zooming a code for you. Here, let's see. I am including a library irremote.h, and then I am declaring receiver int. Receiver is equal to 11. As the 11th pin of Arduino is connected to the data pin of IR receiver, so I'm naming it as receiver. Then I am creating an instance of IR receive, and then I am beginning a baud rate, that is for serial monitor output I have to transmit a data from Arduino to a computer. So I am beginning a serial data transfer with a baud rate of 9600, and then I am enabling the receiver, that is IR receive.enable IRIN. This is to start the receiver. Then the loop starts here, and if IR receive.decode result has a value, if this has a value, then print result.value, then print that result in a hexadecimal on the serial monitor, and then again receive the next value, that is this resume is to receive the next value. Now I think the program must be clear to you. Now let's see the next slide. Now it's time to see a hexadecimal code on our serial monitor. You would receive this type of codes. I have listed the code of every remote button on a serial monitor. You would get the similar output if you try it on your own. Now let's go for the next slide. Now it's a time to build our own IR remote controlled receiver. But how? This is how we are going to build our own IR remote control receiver. First thing is circuit connection, that is to connect IR receiver to Arduino and then Arduino back to LED, and then programming Arduino, and final thing is observation as usual. Let's start with circuit connection. This is our circuit. Here the IR receiver is connected as that of the previous circuit, that is the VCC of IR receiver is connected to 5 volt of Arduino, ground is connected to ground of Arduino, and data pin, that is first pin of IR receiver, is connected to 11th input output pin of Arduino. And now it is a time to connect LED. I would show you clearly. Here it is. The green LED is connected to second input output pin of Arduino, yellow is connected to third, and red is connected to fourth. The positive terminal of these LED are connected to the data pin, and the negative terminal is connected to ground through a resistance. This resistance is connected here to limit the value of current. Limiting the value of current is required for protection both of LED as well as Arduino, as the flow of very high current through the Arduino may lead to burning of Arduino or even damage our computer if it is supplied through USB, or it may damage the LED. Anyway, it is mainly for the protection of Arduino, not for LED, as we know LED is not quite expensive. And now let's see the next slide. Now it's a time for Arduino programming. Let's get our hand dirty with programming again. Here it is. I think this program is big enough. Let's have a look at it. We have declared a lot of things, and then we have declared loops, and so it is big enough, I think. Let's make it easy. I had made a flow chart for you. Here it is. Let's first understand this flow chart. Here start. We see that IR receive.decode has result or not. If this has a result, if this contains a result, then we check. We check result.value is equal to this value or not. This is the hexadecimal value of button 1 of my remote control. button 1 of my remote control, and if this is equal to, if the result is equal to this hexadecimal value, then we see that the light state of button 1 is equal to low or not. If this is equal to 1, then we turn on the LED and return back to the start again, and if it is not low, this means that LED is already on, then we turn off the LED and return back to the start of the program again. And now the case, now is the case when the result dot value is not equal to the hexadecimal equivalent of the button code of 1, then we simply check that is it equivalent to the hexadecimal code of button 2 or not. This is the hexadecimal equivalent of button 2. If it is, then we check that the state, the light state 2 is low or not. If it is low, then we turn on the LED and return back to the start of the program again, and if it is not, this means that the LED is already on, then we turn it off and return back to the start of the program. And again here, if result value is not even equal to the hexadecimal value of button 2, then we check that either it is equal to the hexadecimal value of button 3, that is this is the hexadecimal value of button 3, and if it is, then we check that either the light state is low. If it is low, then we turn it on and return to the start of the program, and if it is not, this means that the LED is already on. Thus we turn it off and return to the start of the program. And here, let's see here, and if we didn't see any of these, if the result that came was neither 1 hexadecimal or 2 or 3, then we return back to the start of the program. And if IR decode.result even had no results, suppose that we are not pressing our remote button, then also we return to the start and continue to check that either the remote control button is pressed or not. I think this was quite difficult, but this is the way to understand this program. Now let's move to a next slide. Here now this is the time to get a fruit from our hard work. Now this is the time to control 3 LED with IR remote button 1, 2 and 3, and we would see it with our own eyes. It's time for a little demo. Here it is. Let's see it. Here the LEDs are flashing on and off. Here we have 3 LED, green, red and white. Here I am, and here he is my partner who is pressing the remote control button, and this is my room. I think it is quite dirty. Thank you friends for watching my video. I really admire your involvement in my work, and if you really liked my work and want to give some credit to me, you can just log on to my website www.wirelessarduino.com co.nf. And like my Facebook page. You can even follow me on Google Plus or add any comment you think appropriate. You can share this website on your Google Plus page by using this button, or you can share it on your Facebook page with your friends or any group that you have joined, or you can even tweet this website on your Twitter page. Thank you once again. Goodbye, friends.